What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another King James video. Now today we're actually going to be going over a light meter that I really wish we had about 5 or 6 years ago because it would have completely changed the game for me. Today we're going to be looking at the KEKS M-Meter, specifically designed for Leica M-mount cameras. Now this model will work with a ton of different M-mount cameras, including some of the more popular ones like the M2, the M3, or even some of the M4 variants. In fact, this is the first light meter that KEKS has designed that actually couples directly to your camera's shutter speed dial. And the way it works is actually pretty genius. You're going to set your camera to bulb mode, and then you're going to attach this to your camera's cold shoe. Now because it is in bulb mode, you're going to line up this little notch right here, and it's going to slide directly over that little indentation in your shutter speed dial, which is going to be on all of your M2s, your M3s, your M4s, and essentially it's going to lock and couple in place. Now just to show you, this is my Leica M4 right here, and to install the M meter on top, you just have to slide it over into your cold shoe mount. Make sure that this wheel here on the right side is actually lifted in the up position, and once you have it flush to the front of the camera here, you're just going to pull down this little lever right here, just like that, and it locks into place. And now once it locks into place, you can freely adjust your shutter speed just using that little dial, which actually has a really nice textured grip, which is honestly so much easier to turn than just using the, bare shutter speed dial. Now once mounted on top, this is what the camera looks like here. It does have sort of like a higher profile, which I personally don't mind. They actually designed this to inherit the coupling design from the classic Leica MR meter, which clearly you can see takes a lot of inspiration from. Now I'm just going to say it straight up here, if you have a Leica M2, an M3, or an M4 and you want to have a built-in light meter, this is a no-brainer. It essentially turns your camera into a Leica M6, which is, the camera that most people go for because of the meter. But with the introduction of this meter right here, you can get into the Leica M-mount system at a much more affordable price point while still being able to have an onboard light meter. Now I actually got my unit about 2 months ago, and I've done so much photography with this exact setup right here. The M4, I got a 35mm lens, and then the M meter on top. And I gotta say, it is a blast to use. It's also been the easiest light meter to use because of the coupling design, as well as the 1.3-inch OLED display on top, which makes viewing your settings extremely easy both in the daytime as well as in the night. It's also fully customizable with options to set exposure compensation, aperture / ISO stops, and you can even set values for a minimum and maximum aperture. Now one of my favorite features about this light meter is that it has a USB-C rechargeable battery, which means you don't really need to worry about finding a very unique and specific cable. I feel like everybody uses USB-C these days, and so you probably will have one laying around, which means you can always power and charge your battery. Now KEKS claims that you have about 10 hours of battery life in a single charge, and just from my testing and shooting it for street photography with landscapes, with portraits even, I actually found that to be incorrect. The meter actually lasted me around 2 weeks, and that's with about 1 to 2 hours of use every single day, sometimes even more if I'm out shooting street photography. And honestly, if it did end up dying on me, it's USB-C charging, so I could pretty much charge it anytime. Now the M meter actually features a VEML 7700 high accuracy ambient light sensor with 16-bit digital resolution. Being that I've tested this meter in so many different lighting conditions, in overcast weather, in the nighttime, and beautiful sunny weather as well, I've found that the meter here is actually really consistent. It's probably the most consistent meter that KEKS has ever made. In fact, I actually really wanted to test out the M meter and see how it would compare to the built-in meter in my Leica M6, and the crazy thing is, every single time it literally matched the exposure the M6 gave me. The only time that I really noticed that it was slightly different than the M6 is when you were shooting backlit scenes. And I'm assuming that is because the cell that is reading the light is going to be up in the front, and when you have a backlit situation where somebody's standing in front of the sunlight, not all the time is that going to get the perfect center reading. So a quick thing that I wanted to do to kind of just alleviate that is take the meter, point it somewhat right here where it's metering for the shadows, and then it gave me the correct exposure, similar to what the Leica M6 would have given me. Now there are a ton of light meters on the market, and so you might be asking yourself, why would I want the M meter, this meter in particular? And folks, I'm just going to keep it plain and simple. If you have a Leica M2, an M3, an M4, or any of the M mount cameras that this is compatible with, you need this light meter. There is no better meter on the market for your Leica M camera. It's literally gonna live on your camera, I guarantee it, because getting consistent and proper exposures on a fully manual camera like an M2, for example, is golden, you know what I mean? People pay thousands and thousands of dollars to get an M6 just to have a built-in light meter. So the fact that you can get an accurate light meter that is built for, you know, an M2 or M3 camera, it's absolutely game-changing. Now the M meter comes in a couple of different beautiful finishes. The first one is going to be satin chrome to match your chrome colored M mount cameras. Black chrome, which is going to be for like your black paint M4s, your black paint M2s. And they also offer a glossy black paint, which is good for, you know, for example, like an MP, which actually is built and constructed of brass and then coated in a glossy black paint. So over time, as you take your M meter out with you on many adventures, you will start to see the paint wear off and give this brassing effect that pretty much everybody knows and loves. KEKS even offers a 24-month warranty so that if you need to send it in for service or repair, they have you covered. I'm gonna leave some links in the description below for where you can pick it up. Essentially, for the chrome and black chrome models, it's gonna be about 120 bucks USD. And for the black paint finish meter, you're gonna be paying around 140 bucks, which in my opinion is still extremely reasonable. So check out the link in the description below to learn more about the meter. But thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you all in the next video. As always, Minolta Gang.